I tease people when they tell me they're Eagles fans. I tell them we can't work together, you know. So how do you figure out some level of compatibility? Hello and welcome to our Aligning Life and Wealth series, where we're making money mean more by aligning it with aspects of life that matter most. We're interviewing what I like to call our life experts, from health and relationships to home security. Their services have a great impact on the lives of many. I'm Michael Conway, President and CEO of Conway Wealth, and today I'm excited to introduce to you Robbie Oxnard Bent, CEO and co-founder of Sidekick Concierge. Hey, Robbie, it's great to have you today and looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Michael. I really look forward to speaking with you.
Cool. Excellent. Excellent. I think your service that we'll unpack today is something many families are going to currently need, and will be needing, right? It's a unique proposition. So excited to talk about it. So let's start with the basics. What is Sidekick Concierge?
Great. So
Yeah.
Sidekick Concierge is an innovative support service for active seniors who are looking for some occasional support, personal assistance, or stimulating conversation and companionship. And our clients are independent, want to live at home, want to continue to live their best lives at home. And we work to continue to enable our clients to have that independence.
Okay. Yes, that's fantastic. And so, what was the genesis here? How did you think of this? How did you come up with the idea of the business?
Okay, great. My two co-founders and I, Claudia and Nancy and I, we were working together professionally, and we got to know one another. We started having really, a great friendship, but a lot of our conversation turned to not just our children or our dogs or our favorite movies and books. We're all big readers. But a lot of our conversation started to turn to what was going on with our parents and their generation, other aging family members. And we realized that we were all struggling a little bit with how to support our parents who were all living at home, all very independent for the most part.
Sure.
But there were ways in which they needed support, and we wished that we could be there for them, but we couldn't be there for them.
Yeah.
So, for example, Claudia's mom needed some support with everything that happens online. She grew up in an era before computers, before screens, and she would often call Claudia and ask for all of the things that happen online: calendar help, Netflix password, how to connect with her television, and how to do everything online. So she needed online support. My parents were downsizing, and they needed help purging their belongings and organizing and getting ready for this move, what to donate, what to give away to family members. And then once they downsized, they needed help getting set up in their new apartment. Not just unpacking boxes and making it beautiful, but also like getting their tech set up in their home. And then Nancy's father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Her mother needed support because she took over not just caring for her father, but all of that, the administrative things in the house that he used to do, the bill paying, the planning, some of the meal stuff. Like, she took over all of that. And so she needed support with those things, but also some caregiver relief. She needed a chance to occasionally take a break and do
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
So, and we realized so many of our friends were going through the same issues, that sandwich generation of caring for kids on one end, parents on the other, working professionally. It's just a lot.
And technology has changed so rapidly. It's like turning on the television at night. It's um, which network or whatever, which one of the cable outlets is the show on? Is it on
Right.
Netflix? Is it on Prime? Is there what? And then figuring, oh, now it's asking for my password, or there's a QR code, or like
Yeah,
there's a lot of moving pieces. So I can imagine
absolutely.
folks that aren't used to this, can need help for sure. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
so Robbie, who do you mainly help? What would you say? Is it the elderly? What is the target audience for
Okay,
this?
great. We
Yeah.
think of, we sort of almost have two clients, or we think of it in a way of, our clients are seniors who are active and independent and dynamic and amazing. They've lived rich, full lives. They've traveled. They've had careers. They've raised families. We love our clients. They're so amazing.
Yeah.
But the family is also another client because sometimes it's the adult daughter or daughter-in-law or son or a niece or nephew who might call us and they need support for a parent or aging family member. And they're often, strapped for resources and time, and they need support themselves in order to support their aging family member. So we consider the family and the aging client, senior, our clients.
Yeah, that's interesting of that the children call you from time to time because they're the conduit, right? They're the one that mom or dad communicate with on what the issues are, and then they call you to get, some insight and some help and some
Yeah, it's often
guidance.
half and half. I mean, it's about half and half, Michael. About
Okay.
half of the clients call us directly, the seniors, and the
Yeah,
other half are family members. And part of that might be back to the online thing. Part of that might be the fact that um, people find out about us online often, right? They see our website or they see something on social media. They learn about us through a friend and then look us up online. But the seniors aren't necessarily on their computers or on their phones searching for a service like this. They wouldn't necessarily know how to find it. So
yeah,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Um, so the next question is, who are your sidekicks? Okay, so let's
Okay.
start there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Our sidekicks range in age from really late 20s to early 70s. We have
Okay.
clients in their 60s, and we have sidekicks who go up through their 70s, which is fascinating.
Yes.
The average age of our sidekicks is 54. About 90% of them are women, but we love our male sidekicks as well. All of our sidekicks are well educated. They all have a college education. They are former professionals or currently working part time. They are empty nesters, early retirees, stay at home parents. Um, some of our clients, our sidekicks, have had incredible professions: law, business, medicine, the arts. And not only do they bring to their work with their clients the tasks at hand that they're trying to accomplish with the client, whatever that might be, but they bring in, for a lot of our clients, their social worlds start to decline, right? Their social circles get smaller
Sure.
and there's not as much dynamism in their lives. And so the sidekicks come in and they'll do the things that need doing, the tasks, the organization, the tech stuff, the help with meals, accompanying, but they bring in their whole worlds. They bring in this wonderful conversation and spark this wonderful dynamic. They bring some life
Some
into
some
our
vibrance, some
some vibe.
vibrance. Hey, here's
Yeah.
pictures of my kid's graduation, whatever the conversations are. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And safety is really, really important to us. So we made a commitment when we started the company that we would never bring a sidekick on board who we wouldn't feel comfortable, Nancy and Claudia and I, having in our own parents' home. We think of our sidekicks as sort of stand-in adult children for their family members, and
Mm,
we felt that sometimes a sidekick can have an incredible resume, but if in our getting to know them, and I'll talk about that in a minute, if we felt like we just don't, for whatever reason, we don't feel like that we'd want this person in our mom or dad's
little too
home.
quirky or whatever.
It just could be not
Yeah.
like, it's just something doesn't feel right,
Yeah, yeah.
or they're whatever it might be, they're just not the right fit. So all of our sidekicks are interviewed by one of the three co-founders. They all have three personal reference checks, background checks, social media and online checks. They are all trained. We have a wonderful training for all of our sidekicks, and we support them throughout their experience with us. We have sidekicks who've been with us from inception. We started about 3 years ago, and we have sidekicks who've been working with the same client, some of them, from the very beginning,
That's cool.
and some sidekicks who have started recently. We have 148 sidekicks.
Awesome. And the job of a sidekick can be how many hours a week?
Oh,
So what are they typically? It's flexible?
it's flexible.
Yeah.
That is one of the beauties of what we're doing. A lot of agencies, and we're not really an agency, but a lot of other companies that are serving seniors have these stringent minimum requirements, and we're really flexible. So our clients can book us one time only, or they can book us every week. Our sidekicks let us know when they're going through their interview process with us, they let us know how many hours they have available to
Sure.
work.
Sure.
Some of them work, 10 hours a week, some 4, some 20. It really depends on how many clients they can take on and what the clients need. And I'll talk when you're ready about the matching process, because that's a really big.
Let's go to that actually. So how
Okay.
do you match?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, it's I tease people when they tell me they're Eagles fans. I tell them, "Eh, we can't work together," you know. So how do you figure out some level of compatibility?
I feel like that's the secret sauce of what we're doing. We not only get to know our sidekicks really well through the interview process, their application and the interview, even in the training, we get to know more about them. And we also work really, really hard to get to know our clients. So every new client, we spend time with them on the phone, with them, their family members, and we're getting to know them, their interests, their preferences, what sport teams they like,
Yeah.
where they fall politically sometimes can be important to some people.
Sure.
Some people
Sure.
don't
And
care, but for some, it's very
in
important.
today's climate, that's a big,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and we wanna make sure everybody's look, you're having someone in your home. We wanna make sure you feel really, really comfortable and, really supported. So, if someone tells us that that's really important to them, we make sure we put a sidekick with them who is compatible, or who knows how to be diplomatic, right? That's really important. But we get to know our clients and their preferences, their interests, their backgrounds. Sometimes people start with where they are today. If a client or adult child calls, they'll tell us about, oh, my mom's struggling with the following things, or my dad has these issues, and we're like, okay, time out, go back. We want to know all about the life that your parent has led.
Hmm.
What was their career? What did they love? What hobbies can they still do? What are their interests? And when we get to know all of that, we can make a beautiful match. And something we didn't know when we started the company was that once we match the sidekick and the client, they are going to want to stick together. They
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
want we sort of thought, "Okay, if a client would have Robbie, why not have Claudia or Nancy?" If we hire people like us, why couldn't we stand in for one another? But as we know with human relationships, when you get to know someone and you have a connection, you wanna see that person again. You wanna know that that person who got to know you a little bit is coming back the next time. And the
Sure.
sidekicks fall in love with their clients too. The sidekicks wanna go back and work with the same client again because they adore their clients.
Yeah. And
So,
it's
yeah.
gotta be you talked about this a little bit before, but I mean, some folks, and especially as we age, their circle of life does get a little, begins to shrink a bit,
Yeah.
right? The grandkids might be older and off in sports and no contact versus when
Mhm.
they were 5 or 6 years old. And
Yeah.
so having that person to talk to every now and again, that's an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah. One other thing on that note, Michael, is that, that idea of technology, I'm just gonna bring that up again because, you know, I somewhat grew up with technology. I used my first computer in college to write my thesis in college. My kids grew up with technology their whole lives, right? But a lot of our clients didn't use technology. They may have used it a tiny bit in their work, but a lot of people did not grow up with technology. And if you think about how we engage with the world, including being in touch with grandchildren, a lot of it happens through technology: FaceTime, texting, Zoom calls, emails. And our clients often need help with that, not just the Netflix passwords and the email, crazy email stuff happening, or paying bills online, or making doctor's appointments and communicating with doctor's offices online, but staying in touch with family members all around the country. We're such a big country that somebody could live in New York and their grandchildren could be in California, but they can FaceTime with them if they know how, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
And
But
a
just
lot.
look at how we're having this conversation today, right? That's
Yeah,
all
that's
it's all technology and it's
yeah,
a changing landscape. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Robbie, what are some of the other I think you've listed a lot of them, but walk us through and tell the audience, bill paying, give us a list again of some of the types of things that
Sure.
a sidekick can help a client
Of
with.
course.
Yeah.
It's almost endless. And some of our clients don't even know all the things we can do. And they've been working with us for a couple of years. But psychics go in to help their clients with, paperwork, mail, correspondence, doing errands, cooking projects. Some of our sidekicks are wonderful cooks and love to cook, and some of our clients want that kind of help. Either meal planning or purchasing or making of the meals, putting things in the freezer. Online shopping and returns is huge. You order something and then the clients need help with, how do I get this back to Amazon? I don't want this thing that I ordered. Accompanying to doctor's appointments and sometimes taking notes, either for the client or for family members. Um, you know, Tech support, walking dogs sometimes. A lot of our psychics, especially in Manhattan, will accompany their clients to a museum or a concert, um, or just a walk in the park, going grocery shopping together. But they can either go together or the psychic can go for the client. So every client is different and every client uses their sidekick in different ways, depending on what their needs are. Oh, another thing is home and closet organization. So purging belongings or just getting the winter stuff put away and the summer stuff brought out. Sometimes there's a lot of clutter, decluttering, like that kind of stuff as well.
Do I don't want to put you on the spot with this, but I might be. Do the sidekicks ever help your clients avoid scams?
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
because it's like like we're all getting hit every day with click this. I've been told I think 50 times that I have a toll violation.
Yes, I get those too.
Right, and then you
I
look at you look at the where it's coming in from. You're like, that's not, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so anyway,
Absolutely, they do, and we also have, I think we have a Side Circle event. We have these online free events called Side Circle events that we
okay,
created to help bring our community together, to have topics of interest to our clients and their friends and family members.
that's
So
great.
we do
Okay,
a lot of technology talks, and I know that our tech expert Jonathan, who does these talks for us, he's incredible. He's Genius Bar Apple certified to work with seniors.
oh
He
wow,
has that specific training.
okay,
And I know that he's mentioned how to avoid scams, but I even think we might have one coming up specifically about that. But I know that even our sidekicks who work every day, who are not our tech expert, work with their clients on, the clients often just say, here's my phone. What is this? Or can you help me figure this out? Or can you help me figure out how to block these numbers? So absolutely. A lot of our psychics help. I mean, I would say probably 70% of our sidekicks every week are helping their clients with something phone, iPad, computer related.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Tell us, Robbie, what makes your service different from the traditional home care or errand services?
Oh, sure. That's a great question. Home healthcare agencies are fantastic. They're really needed for hands on medical care, personal body care. Um, and that our psychics don't do that. So when our client also needs that support, or maybe graduates from what we can do into that kind of support, we have wonderful relationships with many home healthcare agencies that we love. Um, they often have minimums, daily minimums and weekly minimums of 6-hour minimum per day, 24-hour minimum per week. Our psychics don't do the same things, but our minimums are 2 hours. So we have a very different kind of model from that. But that when they're needed, and they're life saving. So,
Yeah,
and errand services, like if I think about TaskRabbit, they're also great for kind of a one-time project or, like a household project or an errand that needs to be run, but whoever you get is who you get, and you don't usually see the same person again. Our service is really meant for people who want someone in their home with them, who's very vetted, who's very trustworthy, who is very high level, well educated, who's going to almost stand in the way a family member would come in to be helpful.
got it, got it.
Yeah.
Um, what is the most unique request you've ever gotten?
Oh, we've had so many wonderful ones. I'll tell you about a couple things.
I mean,
So,
you gave us some great examples. I'm just wondering if there's any, something that's a little
yeah,
crazy, but
I'll tell you about a couple. We had one family who was having a wedding and they wanted their 95-year-old father to come to the wedding. And so a sidekick came and picked him up at his assisted living home, ordered an Uber, got him into the Uber, wore a tux. The sidekick wore a tux, accompanied the father, the 95-year-old father, to the wedding, spent the entire day with him, made sure he had food. He was walking, he had a cane.
Yeah.
Um, but having somebody there so that the family members whose wedding it was, so his grandchild and the parents, his child and grandchildren, didn't have to worry about him or focus on him. That was kind of a cool one. And
That's a
there's some
very
great
cool one.
pictures.
It's such a warm and fuzzy solution,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it makes me smile.
And
Uh,
wait, one other one I wanna tell you about.
yeah,
We have a 90-year-old lawyer who was still practicing his law. He still had cases and clients, and he's 90 years old. He's still working with us. He needed help not only with, like, all the stuff in his home and dealing with his own personal papers and paperwork, he needed a sidekick to come in and help him close down his law practice and close down his cases and do all the things from an insurance, financial, and legal perspective to help
wow,
him execute that. And we have a sidekick who was a former bond trader. So she was very sophisticated in terms of knowledge of finances and even somewhat of law and insurance related stuff just from her professional life. A woman in her mid 50s. And she came in and helped him over the course of 6 months beautifully close down his law practice. And now he's shifted to using her for stuff in his home and also they go out together and have lunch together. They developed a
that's sweet.
wonderful professional relationship, but that's another really good one, I think.
Yeah, those are fantastic. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to someone who wants extra support for their aging parent or loved one?
Yeah. Um,
How did the adult children think about it and then approach maybe mom or dad? Like, so tell us about that.
yeah, absolutely. I I think the biggest thing is don't wait. We sometimes see clients, whether that's the senior or their adult child, wait until they think it's almost like they can't live without the help before they reach out to get support. And studies have shown that it's early intervention. The earlier you develop that relationship with somebody who can then be woven into the fabric of your life, the better your outcomes are. The better the quality of your life, the longer life, the healthier you will be. If you don't wait until you're desperate for help. We have had a couple times where somebody reached out and we started to get their parent going, and it just was like, but then within a month, they needed a home health care aide, or they became resistant to help. If you wait too long, especially with cognitive impairment, I'd say about half of our clients have some cognitive impairment, mild cognitive impairment to moderate.
Mm,
The earlier, the better. The
yeah,
earlier you get to know a new person, the better for your outcomes. The other thing I'd say is especially for family members, you really want to prevent caregiver burnout. A lot of family members, spouses, and adult children try to do so much for their aging loved one. They try to be the everything, right? To step in and do all the things that need doing. And then you get burnt out. And then you can't care. Then you're exhausted and you can't care for yourself or anyone else. So sidekicks can really be a stand in or somebody like a sidekick, depending on where you are. And then I guess the third thing would be safety first. Make sure anybody you bring into your parents' home has been thoroughly vetted and really, are just the top people to bring into your family home.
yeah, that's safety and yeah, that's huge. Okay, as
Yeah.
we're rounding the bend here, where the other question I had is where are you currently serving clients and how do you handle people across the country?
Okay. Yeah, we're serving clients in the New York City area, metro area. So all of the boroughs of Manhattan, all of the boroughs of New York City, including Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens, and the Bronx,
Okay.
and Westchester County, New York, Fairfield County, Connecticut. So that's the southwestern Connecticut. We're a little bit on Long Island, and we're also serving clients in Palm Beach County, Florida, which includes Delray Beach, Boca Raton, West Palm, those areas. We do also serve clients all around the country virtually. So that can be with our tech expert. That can be something called Sidekick Chats, where if somebody just wants some great conversation, someone to check in on them or just talk with them anywhere in the country, and any kind of online support. So if somebody needs help booking flights or online shopping for their grandchildren, we can do that kind of thing virtually as well.
Yes, I had, my stepmom call recently to ask us to send gifts to the grandkids on her behalf, right? So
Oh,
that's the type of thing that you're talking about. So, yeah. So listen, we thank you very much for being here today. This has been fantastic, Robbie. Love that you're in the Life and Wealth Network and looking forward to continue work together. So thank you for everything and appreciate our visit today.
thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to talk with you. I really enjoyed our conversation, and we're really excited about being a part of the Life and Wealth Network. So thank you.
You bet. Good to see you.
You too.